Jack was just taking a whiz on the ground when he spotted a shiny rock not too far away. He walked over and wiped off the dirt, and it turned out the rock looked a lot like gold. To figure out if it was the real deal, Jack quickly called Mike over. Mike whipped out his lighter and started burning the rock, but even after 2 minutes, it wasn't charred at all and the color hadn't changed one bit. They knew right then it had to be gold. Staring at that huge hunk of gold, both of them were totally stunned. Once it sunk in, they immediately started digging up the dirt with shovels. 3 minutes later, an enormous gold nugget appeared before their eyes. The two tried to yank the gold out with their bare hands, but even with all their might, it wouldn't budge, so they decided to use their car to pull it out. They tied one end of a rope tightly around the gold, and hooked the other end to the rear bumper. Then Mike started up the engine to try to haul out the gold, but in an instant, the rope snapped clean through. Mike was royally pissed. They realized that to dig up this massive pile of gold, one of them would have to go get an excavator while the other stayed behind to guard their treasure. But greed started to take over, and each one tried to convince the other to be the one to stay. That's when a devious idea popped into Mike's head. He said he'd go borrow an excavator from town, and left some food for Jack to wait there with the gold. To escape the scorching sun, Jack found a ratty old cloth and haphazardly hung it on a tree. Then he dozed off without a care in the world. But when he woke up again, everything was dead silent, and his buddy was still nowhere to be seen. A pang of unease hit him, but he brushed it off since the gold was still there. Resigned, he turned his attention to survival, scouring the ground for kindling. Just then, his eyes were drawn to an odd shadow in the distance. The wreckage of a plane had suddenly appeared. Under the blistering sun, those hunks of metal were the perfect refuge, but Jack felt a creeping dread, because from there he couldn't see the alluring gold. He decided to tear off some pieces of the wreckage and drag them next to the gold. He quickly threw together a makeshift tent and fell sound asleep. But after waiting alone in the searing desert for 3 days and nights, there was still no word from Mike. A blood-chilling thought flashed through Jack's mind.